What is up, internet? FC here, and I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel for another video. Now, today's upload is not going to be your typical fried chicken seasoning, mainly because a couple articles over the weekend caught my eye. Now, usually when publishers start talking about Star Citizen, news outlets and stuff, the first thing that they always talk about is always going to be when is Star Citizen going to release, and two, how much money the game in total has amassed. So let's pull up the first article from Destructoid and take a look at it and try to analyze it to see what's going on here. So let's read the header. Not making a game sure seems like a good business. Star Citizen reportedly crosses 1 billion gross while release remains elusive. So, as a typical Star Citizen player, we already know that there's not going to be probably any official release for the persistent universe, which is Star Citizen. But let's see what they have to say in the actual article. Let's just take a quick look and read the first clippings. So, Cloud Emporium Games has reportedly amassed over $1 billion in crowdfunding since starting development on Star Citizen. A news report reveals the impressive feat comes despite Star Citizen's constant elusive release. While its sister title, wrong, first of all, Squadron 42 is the header versus Star Citizen. Everything from Squadron 42 is developed first, and then whatever's left over comes over to the PU. Anyone knows this. Maybe the casuals don't know this. The people who are now entering into the whole entire CAG platform, they may not know about that. But for people like me who's been playing the game for years, we know what comes first and what comes second. So let's keep on going on. See, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about how much money he made, 859 million. And Chris Roberts states that he says they have amassed over $1 billion in funding. So, I'm not sure how much money they spent on each game. I'm not sure how much Squadron has gotten versus the persistent universe. They got to pay the bills, and we're the ones funding the bills because it's a 100% crowdfunded game. And a lot of these articles they don't realize as well is that everything for Star Citizen is all built in-house. They have their own engine, and nobody owns them but themselves. But let's continue reading. Meanwhile, Squadron 42, a spinoff, not the spinoff, that's supposed to be the main thing yet again, these guys obviously don't know what they're talking about, is set to launch in 2026 according to the same report. So they got the report from IGN, and Chris Roberts is talking, so that's that. But which has no doubt taken time and resources away from Star Citizen itself. And stars Hollywood mega actors like Henry Cavill and Gray Oldman, has also been suspended in development for the better part of a decade. Yeah, as we know, it's taking time. It's taking time. I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto. They're going on, over $1 billion in development, and obviously 10+ years of development as well. And so, two titans of the industry are making something that obviously different than anything else. These are what I would say is a AAA budget game. Thus, for over 13 years now, CAG has slowly worked on getting Star Citizen and Squadron 42 out with countless delays and broken promises. Yeah, but one thing that this article publisher doesn't realize is that any real hardcore Star Citizen person plays the game. We're patient, and it does get tiring sometimes here and there when they start messing up, but they usually are able to pick themselves back up and fix things when they break. So, that's one benefit of Star Citizen. But, just continuously reading, going on, Chris Roberts, according to IGN's report, said internally that Squadron 42 will be on par with GTA 6's release next year. So, Chris Roberts is saying that, it's going to sell. And I feel like it is going to sell. There is, 5 million counts that's activated on Star Citizen. Star Citizen has a monthly player base of over 1 million players who plays the game over the course of a month. So there is players, they're there, and so people are going to buy the game, and so it's going to be a thing. And of course, when the game actually drops, the casuals are going to come in, the content creators are going to come in, and then just regular people are going to come in as well and play the game, since it's going to be an official release. But blah blah blah. Let's continue on. Online communities have torn in the Roberts claims and CIG's history of delaying its titles. Yes, we know this. But I mentioned this in the video before in the past that CIG has beaten the allegations every single time. People said server meshing was going to be impossible for the game. Guess what? They did it. Pyro was never coming, no 4.0. Guess what? It came out, they did it, and a couple other things here and there. So, you know, the wolf is just barking at this point. It's like I said, it's the exact same story. They just don't understand the development of the game and its process. These article publishers, they look, more towards the hate to fuel their article versus anything else. They see the big numbers hitting, but they don't rationalize what's being spent on what and what for the development. Because making a game ain't cheap, no matter what way you look at it. But yeah, the overall sentiment surrounding these games, their creator and the studio behind them is significantly negative. I don't believe that. Most people are running to the game, either first-time players, first-time flyers. They usually receive the game very positively, and they continue playing it. I met a lot of people from this game, and I've been playing it for years, just been enjoying it. I understand the issues that the game has, which is one reason why I'm able to enjoy it personally, because I understand what is good and what's bad with the game, which means I'm allowed to which enables me to walk around those issues and continue enjoying what I enjoy about the game. But some people, like I said, some of the casuals who may be entering, some of the new people, they don't know the full history. So they're walking in just seeing what's on the front. And I know I would have to say CAG is also bad at advertising the way how the game plays and how buggy it is. They just give you warnings whenever you decide to load in something. When you first boot up the game, you get an acknowledgement screen, and no one reads that thing, but pretty much it says that the game's in development, bugs, this and this and that. And but yeah, let's keep on going. All in gist, Star Citizen has made developing a game the most profitable business venture imaginable. As a 13-year-old down the line, CAG is yet to actually release even a single title. They're about to release Squadron 42, which is Star Citizen's baby. So, once that drops, that drops. Now, let's take a look at another article that I saw from FastForward. They pretty much are saying the same thing. The billion-dollar video game you still can't play. What do you mean? I play this game and make content on it every day. So that's automatically facetious. Why are they saying that? They're just not being illiterate with their whole entire thing right there. So, a record-breaking project with endless funding, delayed promises, and sky-high expectations. It is. That's a little truth to it, Like I said earlier, $850 million. They have the total amount of accounts. I don't know where they got the number, but 5.8 million accounts that are made. Me personally, I have 2 accounts. I have my main FC account, then I have my secondary account, which I'm going to use for a series. But those exist. Just by looking at it, by taking a quick glance, it's kind of saying the same thing. Typically, production costs of a video game remain secret or revealed only after, in this case. Well, CAG, they're very open about what they do because it's a crowdfunded game, so they have to let the people know how much they're spending, how much they're earning, and what they're putting the money towards. They may not talk about every little detail, but they do let us know where certain things are going. And so a lot of companies won't do that. EA won't do that. Take-Two won't do that. Activision won't do that. And so having that type of confidence in your player base, being able to divulge that information is, in my opinion, a W for CIG. They're talking about the story 2012, 2013. Chris Roberts, they're talking about a synopsis about how he began. Normally the development of a major game backed by a large studios. It's not really a large studio, is backed by us, player base. We're the ones, that's why it's a crowdfunding game. So some of their information still isn't there. The biggest open scale game ever. Astronomical funding, of course. I'm curious how GTA is going to perform versus this. What have the backers received so far? So let's see what this says. Currently, the game is playable in paid alpha version. Yes, you buy a starter pack and you can do everything. Think of it as both a development tool for creators and a preview for backers, allowing them to experience certain aspects of the game while awaiting the final release. Okay, true. There are also premium starter packs to further boost funding. Cloud Emporium, because that's how they make their money. They sell ships. They got to pay the bills. We help pay the bills. Squadron 42 is a spin-off title. Still not a spin-off. It was still first in line, then Star Citizen. So, Meanwhile, the company continues to find new ways to attract funding. Yes, events, ships, packs, of course. I mean, that's pretty much every game today. You look at EA, yeah, VC packs left to right, battle passes and stuff like that, skins, all that stuff. Every game has it. Every game has it. It's just common in today's outlook, Expensive in-game spaceships. You don't have to buy any ship outside the game if you don't want to. Just buy a starter pack and you're good to go. Literally get over 80% of the whole roster in-game just by playing it like a regular MMORPG, but they look over that. And merchandise keeps players invested, while according to PC Gamer, a revamped referral program was recently launched to encourage dedicated backers to bring in friends. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's not hard. Like I said, just get yourself a cheap starter pack and play the game that way and then earn everything in game. Or you can ask the global chat that you're new, and people will be more or less happy to either give you free money or let them fly your ships or show you the ropes, just because people in the game want the game to succeed. So we're very positive. One of the most positive communities I've seen in gaming in whole. Yes, there's a lot of toxicity, but toxicity exists in every game, period. I can't tell you any game where no one's toxic. So, that's that. Continue on. The game transport players to a 30th century where humanity has spread across the dozens of space systems under the rule of the United Earth Empire. So they're talking about the backstory of the game. So let's see. Expectations are sky high. With record-breaking funding already in hand, the final release will face immense pressure to justify years of anticipation. This is true. A lot of people are very excited for the game, and we can't wait. At least they talked that, they said some good stuff about this in this article versus the other one, which is pretty much just shitting on the game. Like I said, people who are now becoming, they're fresh, they're new, they don't know about the game. They're just seeing what's on the front. They hop in, they're expecting it to run like a proper game, but they don't read the warning signs that is given to them because it's alpha. And a lot of the people who are new coming to the game just don't understand it, because this year I read another article talking about how this is the most popular year for Star Citizen, the most new players ever entering the verse, the most players playing at the same time ever. Every year it's just growing and growing and growing. And a lot of people who are now joining the game, they just don't understand certain aspects. Usually whenever someone comes to me in my Discord or they ask me other questions about the game, they're thinking about hopping into it, I always give them a serious warning, like, hey, this game is an alpha, it's a buggy mess, but if you know its workarounds, which are not hard to understand at all, it's a very fun and simple game to play. But these article publishers, they always say the exact same thing. Twice a year, you'll see an article saying the exact same thing. CAG has hit this number, Wait till after IAE. We're going to see some more articles saying the exact same thing. CAG has hit $1.2 billion in funding at the end of their IAE Expo. Blah, 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 blah. Still no release. That's what they're going to focus on. That's all what they have to focus on, But wait till CAG actually gets things grounded. Like I said earlier, everything is all made in-house. They're doing things slow, trying to do it right. It's game development. It's not an easy process. It's not a fast process. If you want high quality, gameplay, all the other stuff, you're going to have to, wait for it to be something. And it's, what I'm talking about. Again, Star Citizen is Star Citizen. People are going to love it. People are going to hate it. That's just realistically what it's going to be at the end of the day. But like I said, to anyone who is new coming into the game, you just must know what you're walking into. Once you start doing that, you'll have acceptance on your side. And after that, it's not that big of a deal after that. You're just pretty much just going with the flow like everyone else. You're going in, talking with people, joining organizations, socializing. It's an MMORPG. Simple as that. It's a space sim. Simple as that. Have your expectations, keep them, but acknowledge what may and may not happen in the future. When Squadron 42 drops, hopefully it drops better than how Metal Gear dropped. I was crashing left and right playing Metal Gear. I'm very curious how optimized the game is going to be. Obviously, they're going to have a play test before it officially drops because it's Star Citizen. They're going to probably put it on like the PTU, some shit like that, because that's how they do. But like I said, different type of video. I just wanted to talk about some articles I saw, just because, it's annoying seeing this sometimes. I was like, they're getting things wrong. I'm obviously these articles, they just do what they got to do. You know, like I said, me personally, I enjoy the game for what it is. I know what it is. I know what I'm walking into. I have a lot of fun, and I know what's wrong with the game too. And even the issues with the game, it doesn't bother me that much. Nowhere near as it used to, mainly because I've just come to an acceptance level where I'm just able to just know and have fun with, you know, playing solo or friends. It is what it is. But yeah, you know, different type of video, just, you know, out here, just, you know, keeping an eye out to see what's happening with CIG, see what it says in the news. And again, that's the same type of thing, which is no big deal for me. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to hear your guys' opinion down below about these two articles. I will link them down below so you guys can read them. Like I said, it's the same regurgitated type of information that's always put up there. But I want to hear your guys' opinion on the game, how much you guys like and dislike it down below in the comments. Let me know. You guys already know who it is. It's the biggest bird in the verse, FC, aka Fried Chicken. Big Bird out.